connection. You are now live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to start this seam off with a couple of back stitches. Scrap that. Went one too far back. So I'm going to start this seam with a back stitch, equaling up my thread. I'm using Fil Chinois 532 and John James 004 needles. For those interested, before we pull that tight, double checking that we are equal. Yes, we are, and then we can go ahead and cinch that up. Hi guys. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Kent in the UK. I hope it's nice weather wherever you are. If anyone's working on any projects at the moment, let me know what you're doing, what you're up to. So today I am stitching in a bag base for the mini case, which is a new course coming out in just a few days. And that's going to be available on leathercraftmasterclass.com. So that's what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Double checking they're coming out the correct side. And anytime you guys have some questions, feel free to put them through. If there's something you want to ask. And when I'm done stitching here, I'll show you exactly what I'm up to. So I'll give you a closer look at what's going on. Hello everyone. Mr. Gavin, how's it going? Just taking photos of an exciting mail day today. 1860s Louis Vuitton trunk. Very nice. Very jealous. It's quite fine. What kind of condition is it in? If you don't mind me asking. What's the tipple? Oh, well, it's the middle of the day. Well, no, it's not. It's 4:30. Some kind of vitamin water. There we go. Why didn't you teach us? I'm not sure what you're asking me by that. It's what I do for a living. I'm sure you meant something else. Yeah, so 3mm stitch on this one. So this is going through the base of the bag, through the front face side leather, also the lining. Our stiffening materials. So I'm using an awl for this. You can alternatively punch through on this if you have pricking irons with prongs thin enough to do so. eBay find of all places needs some love, but in restorable condition for mid to late 1800s. I'm not surprised. I mean, even the fact that it's recoverable is impressive. Someone's been taking good care of that, obviously. I used to love doing restoration. I would do it more if I had the time. It's a very different skill. I say very different, it's very closely related, but its skill requirement is slightly different. Any updates on the UV cured paint? Something I've been working along for a long time. No, I'd say it's probably going to be a no-go. Tried to get a few companies interested and in production, but that's hit a bit of a roadblock, unfortunately. I'll pick your brain on it in a bit, separately from here. Yeah, no worries. Tell you one of the best for restoration is Jean-Pierre, JP from La Malencoin. I can give you his direct Instagram. You can message them on there, but he is an absolute master of trunk restoration. I went to visit him almost a couple of years ago now. I was supposed to go last year, but of course travel restrictions. He's in Haguenau in France, and they created a museum. The baggage museum, or I forget the name of it in French now. But if you Google Baggage Museum France, you'll see it. Amazing, amazing. They've got some new stuff in there as well, so I need to go back and visit. But yeah, if you need some information, that guy, what he doesn't know, it's amazing. Hello, Philip. Hello. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. Just going to move this up. Oh, you do follow him? Okay. No worries. I mean, if ever you do get to, I believe you're in the States, right? If ever you do get to come to Europe and go to France, in Haguenau, which is beautiful, beautiful town near Alsace. Yeah, go and visit them. They're amazing, amazing couple as well. So here's the bag, there's a lock there, of course. This is the base going in now. So that's what it looks like at the moment. And the seam I'm stitching in is this one here. On the opposite side, we have the base, which is obviously yet to be covered. We have one side of the bag and the other side with a little pocket, which I stitched in on the previous live. For which I asked a question, guys. I asked whether you prefer vertical or horizontal video. Everyone on YouTube says horizontal, which is strange because according to the analytics, most people watch it on a mobile. Maybe people like turning the screen. I don't know. I don't know. Hello, when is the next part of the course released? Midnight on the 8th of this month. So a few days away. Midnight on the 8th, which is every month. I'm getting a lot of live requests. Getting more and more, which is strange. Live requests is when somebody requests to be in your live and you share the screen with them. And it's mostly done by accident when people want to send me an emoji, because it's right next to it. So coming towards the end, well, last third. Oh, I took it out to show you. What I meant to do was actually move it up. Bear with me. There we go. Hello, can't wait to watch the next course. Oh, that's good. I always like to hear that. Yeah, the goal of this, it will be a one and done. So it won't be more than one video to finish this bag. Because on the previous parts of the course, we discussed the making of a frame. We also discussed the making of a post handle, briefcase handle, which will be going on this. Because this bag is based on the style of a traditional doctor's bag, a top frame case. And I did a blog about the history of the top frame case if you're interested. It actually originates as a carpet bag that ladies would produce in the 1800s and then take to a saddler to install the frames and the handle. And eventually For more upmarket bags, the style turned to leather, and mostly saddlers would make it. So this is kind of a modern version, but it's much smaller, and it can be used as a lady's handbag, or alternatively, what you call a dop kit or a toiletry bag, as we would say in the UK, for traveling. So anybody can use it. So the idea is it's versatile, but the tutorial also comes with how to make a shoulder strap as well for this particular bag, and a little clochette, of course, because it has a lock. Bear with me. Pretty beautiful. Thank you very much. Hello from the Ukraine. Stephen K. Gavin says, Phil, what's keeping tension on the clam against the bench? Is it a vice of some sort? Yes, it's a hobby vice. It's one of those where you can clamp it to a table and you've got the jaws of the vice, but in between there's like a ball and socket, so it can move around, and then when you tighten it, it stays in that position. I got mine from Aldi, I think, or Aldi. Was it Aldi? I think so. But you can buy them online. I think there's various brands that do it. There's one that I've seen that does exactly the same thing. Who makes it now? Not Dremel. Something like that anyway. That's gonna bug me. I can't remember. Hello from Nigeria. Hello from sunny, at last, United Kingdom. It's a warm day. Opened the workshop today and there was a lizard in the kitchen. A lizard. It literally looked like a dragon. Can't remember the last time I saw a lizard in the UK. Anyway, his name's Fred and he seems to like it behind the bin. Have at it. As long as you kill the spiders, you can live rent-free, no charge. All right, almost at the end here. And then we can tap down our stitches. So this bag is majority goat skin. There are components that are not, of course. But the external layer is goat, and also the internal layer, so the lining, is goat as well, which I do like. It's a fine leather, but it's one of those that's also extremely durable. Last stitch. Let's get that in there. The room is very nice. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, this is an old calf shed, actually, from 1700s, the early 1700s. Obviously restored and modernized, as a lot of things are in England. Just scrolling through. Does it have a name? That's to be announced. That's to be announced. That'll be coming up shortly. I refer to it as the mini case for now. I will, for those of you interested, I know Stephen, you are, I'll show you what's holding this set of clams in. A little tension there. I actually made those, my first set of clams. But they're really good for lots of things, for things that are wide, because they're about 125 millimeters wide, which is quite wide for a clamp. So yeah, that's basically it. So you can clamp that to a table or any kind of fixed surface. Then you've got the jaws, obviously, which you can tighten here. And this kind of ball and socket joint actually moves around so that you can clamp things. I mean, I use it for so many things, like for holding and restoring old pricking irons and tools, for stitching in very, very thick leather parts that requires a lot of force holding it together. It's one of those things, it's like, what do I use it for? But I've used it for 100 different things, and it just comes in really handy when you need something to hold things nice and still. Distress by Leathers, I love your courses. Thank you very much, it's very kind of you. Hello from Brazil. Hello from the United Kingdom. So let's tap down these stitches. Let me just get some more whistle juice. Move some things around so I can actually move you over to the paring stone. Throwing everything around. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Bring you over here. And tighten that up. All right, are we in focus? So I'm actually recording this for YouTube as well. So you can go on there for a little bit more of an HD effect. My job is leather. It's a wonderful job to have. Okay, so might not be able to see it, but this side has been tapped down. This side has not been tapped down, so it looks a little rougher. So just a light tap, hold on. Oh, we're forgetting things. We're forgetting things because we're doing lives. Yes, we are. That's what we're doing. Just tuck that little thread in there. Get rid of that below the surface. Back into its little knot hole. And then just a dab of the old magic glue. Wipe in direction of stitches. Okay, let's tap those down. Sorry for the vibrations for you guys on Instagram Live. Maybe not. Okay, and that's just going to smooth things out a little bit. And then we've got our stitches on the inside. Just going to use the back of the hammer for that. So that small area, wide yet thin, keeps the pressure localized. Of course, this is a carpenter's hammer that's been modified to be polished. It's not any specific one for saddlery or leathercraft. So that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed just a quick stitching session, Q&A, kind of saying hello to you guys again. Most of the time I don't plan these lives. It's kind of like, you know, oh, I think people will be interested in that. Let's go live, say hello to everyone. That's kind of what happens behind these lives. So, perfect. Okay, right, guys. Any questions? Feel free to shoot me a DM or comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to throw me a like if you like these videos, okay? If you really enjoy these videos, please just let me know in the comment section below on YouTube as well. I'm doing more YouTube lives, more Instagram lives, and if that's something that you're interested in and you want to have, you know, a little bit of an insight into what I do here in the workshop and some of the courses and some of the projects that I make, then feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to go to leathercraftmasterclass.com, get your free toolbars guide and also the video which shows you exactly how to buy leather to make sure that you're buying the best quality. leathercraftmasterclass.com. Don't forget to check it out and I will see you there. In the meantime, thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks for you guys on Instagram. Thanks for joining me and saying hello, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.